What is going on, everybody? It's the Founts, and we are here for Unscripted episode number 122 for your June 7th, 2020. We are halfway through this year, and it has just been one crazy and wild year. WWE and AEW, of course, still in the empty arena era, unfortunately, so things are still not back to where we hope they will be very, very soon. But we have got to talk about WWE's treatment. Their treatment of development talent and NXT talent. After the tapings last week, if I was a talent in WWE, I would not want to be here. The way they treated me like a child, treated me like an inhuman-like. Like, are you fucking kidding me? NXT and development talent were used on WWE television tapings last week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So they can have fans for the crowd, because it's something that AEW's been doing since week 1 and WWE has not. WWE waited so long to do it because Vince McMahon didn't want the company to look bad. Well, Vince, the company looks bad because you're doing tapings and you're doing shows, and for a while there you went live while everyone else was taping stuff because you went to the Florida governor and you made sure professional wrestling was an essential business. Wrestling Inc. has learned that the talent had to meet at Full Sail on those days at 10 a.m. for testing. But it was not COVID testing. It was just temperature check and a questionnaire. What kind of testing is that? What kind of testing is that? Then they were bused to the Performance Center at 11 a.m. for the tapings. The return time was not until 10 p.m. The talent had to stand for the matches and could only sit during breaks, so they had to keep getting and returning chairs. Yet Baron Corbin's crown could have a chair all to itself. Baron Corbin's crown was treated better than your Performance Center talent. It got all the pump and pamperness of being able to sit down, like being in a chair, while everybody out there had to sit there and stand for 10 plus hours. Are you kidding me? The fact that, you know, how everyone seemed to be a little bit more jumping and cheering and everything on Monday Night Raw. We got to Friday and it seemed like everyone was dead tired. You didn't hear as much enthusiasm and everything. It's because main event was taped and 205 Live was taped, then Monday Night Raw was taped, then SmackDown. So they had to get to the tail end of the night on Monday and Tuesday for SmackDown. That's why SmackDown both nights felt a little bit worse for Rhea. Things got even worse on Thursday when the Adam Cole vs. Velveteen Dream match for Sunday's In Your House was filmed. Fightful Select first reported that the match was shot outdoors behind Full Sail University's campus. They were told that it was another cinematic match and will be with cars surrounding the area and headlights being used for lights. Fightful noted that talent was told to arrive at 7 p.m. However, it was raining and they weren't able to start filming until after midnight. So these guys had to sit in their cars for 5 fucking hours. That has to fucking suck. The talent did not get home until early in the morning. NXT TakeOver in Your House takes place, of course, tonight, June 7, 2020. On top of that, NXT talent were over the PA system ordered to sound more enthusiastic, sound more happy and great to be there. That's not how you get people to be enthused. That's not how you get people to sit there and actually be jovial and everything. Having them demeaned and treated like children? Are you kidding me? And on top of that, WWE gets the best catering for their main roster talent. They come in, they get to sit down, eat some good food, and get ready for the show. WWE, I don't know who thought this was a good idea. They ordered the NXT and developmental talent to pack lunches or pack food for themselves because they're going to eat in tent, and they cannot interact with the main roster. How childish is that? How pathetic is that? Yeah, because I want to stay with WWE when I'm being treated like lesser than the main roster. I don't care. That is unacceptable. Vince McMahon or whoever was who was in charge of these tapings should be ashamed of themselves. You don't treat talent like that, especially with everything that's going on over here in the world with all these fucking protests and riots and shit. You're going to demean your talent like that. These are your future. This is your future talent. This is the people who are supposed to be there. You're supposed to cultivate into the next stars who are going to carry this company after most of the people who are on the main roster right now up and leave, retire, or get fired. And you're going to treat them like lesser beings? Give me a fucking break. It's bad enough that you have them hidden, like, closed behind plexiglass, like the fucking animals. Give me a fucking break. This is pathetic. Just another notch on the pathetic rung of Vince McMahon's ladder. Just ridiculous. The fact that they would even think about doing that. And the fact that WWE, again, shows how fucking stupid they can be. The fact that AEW has their talent, have had their talent out there for months. They're not behind plexiglass. They can interact with the talent in the ring. I mean, Billy Gunn and his son Austin Gunn are a highlight of the crowd because they do the most out there. But of course, they're not taping Raw, SmackDown, and 205 Live and Main Event all in one setting. And by the way, AEW talent have chairs. They get to sit down if they want. They can get up if they want and cheer and everything. They aren't treated like animals. They're treated as what fans would be. There's a rumor going around, and there's talk that the plexiglass is going to stay even after fans are allowed back in. So after weeks, because after weeks and weeks and months of no fans, that's what I want to see is have the fans, the thing that makes up half of your fucking business. That makes up majority of your business when it comes to ticket sales, but kind of makes up half of your experience. You're just going to lock them and hide them away behind plexiglass. Give me a break. This is just the lowest of the low that Vince McMahon can get. Now, the top name in NXT right now, of course, is Adam Cole. He has been the NXT champion for over a year. I honestly don't think he was originally supposed to go to 365 days. I think the whole entire pandemic thing ruined that. I think that he would have had the match with the Velveteen Dream at TakeOver Tampa, and then there would have been one more takeover before they would have did something on TV to prevent him from hitting 365. I don't have a clue, but it just feels like there was going to be something that would have prevented him from hitting 365. Of course, things change all the time. Adam Cole could have been injured halfway through this year. You just don't know. But is Adam Cole staying in WWE long term? Dominic Dijakovic is expected to starting on the Raw brand soon. Chelsea Green has also been discussed as potential call-up. I don't know why. However, Wrestle Talk noted that they're not yet official. Wrestling Inc. has learned that Io Shirai and Velveteen Dream are also being discussed to be called up to the main roster. We also have learned that Adam Cole has yet to sign a new deal with WWE. Cole's contract expires in August, if you remember. Cole made his debut at TakeOver Brooklyn 2017 edition, which I would think was TakeOver Brooklyn 3, when he attacked the new NXT champion Drew McIntyre, which was originally supposed to be setting him up to be Drew McIntyre's next challenger. And the reason they put him together with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish is because Drew's way taller than him, and it would be a little bit more even in the height disparity if you have two other guys to help knock him down. But then plans changed. Andrade got in there, and then Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era ended up going to being in the War Games match, and the rest is history. One would assume that AEW would be interested in signing Cole, who was a member of the Bullet Club with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Adam Page, and his girlfriend Britt Baker is a top star, and I would hold that off on that, but a star in AEW. Baker recently said that she hopes that Cole will reunite with the Elite one day, as she was talking to Tony Schiavone and Aubrey Edwards on the Restricted podcast. We're all one huge giant family, she said, and I hope that there is a day in the near future where Adam Cole can be in a ring with the Young Bucks and Kenny and Cody. Baker said on the Unrestricted podcast, it will come full circle, and we can all be one giant happy family. If Cole resigns with WWE for significantly more money, it is likely that he will get called up to the main roster by the fall. If he doesn't come to terms on a new deal and his contract expires, he would be free agent in the time for AEW's All Out pay-per-view on September 5th. Now, Adam Cole, I could see going to AEW. I can see Adam Cole staying. Most likely, Adam Cole is staying. I don't see a reason for him to be leaving. The reason that you see Matt Riddle moving up to the main roster is the same reason why they would move Adam Cole up to the main roster. Contract. Because when you leave NXT and you come to the main roster, you sign a new deal. You sign a new deal that is for it used to be for 3 years, if I'm correct. And then WWE went somewhere and started doing 5 years. Now, if I'm Adam Cole, with what I'm about to read here in a minute, I would not want to be in WWE if I get called up to the main roster. Because one DOGG tried to shoot his mouth off and after the bell and pretty much say, hey, Adam Cole has no future. It's surprising a full year as NXT champion, Adam Cole has earned a lot of admirers along the way, and he's one of the producers and one of this NXT producer, Brian Road Dogg James. James spoke with about the Undisputed Era Kingpin on After the Bell podcast and believes he has all the tools necessary to be a top guy on the main stage. He said, and I quote, Adam Cole is the most professional, most talented. He gets it. He gets every aspect of it, but he's also a great worker. He has great psychology, man. And this is the part that is an absolute slap in the face of Adam Cole. If he was carrying across his size, he would be the Universal Champion right now. And if he wasn't, I'd be wondering why. That's the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of human he is. That's the kind of talent he is. Incredible. He's probably one of my favorite guys, but from a guy who is now on this side of the fence, having worked with that guy, he gives you everything you could ask for, more and more. You don't even really have to ask for it. Do you know what I mean? It's just like a dream. You know, it's a dream superstar. So basically, the fact that you compared him to Karrion Kross, who is a beast and is going to be Universal Champion one of these days if Vince McMahon doesn't get bored with him. You said if Adam Cole was Karrion Kross's size, he would be Universal Champion right now. So Adam Cole's size is going to stunt him on the main roster. Adam Cole has no future on the main roster. Adam Cole is better off leaving WWE to go to AEW with his girlfriend Britt Baker and his friends in the Elite and becoming one of the biggest stars in professional wrestling that WWE will not even give him a shot. Really? This guy is one of the absolute best they have. And for Road Dogg to come out there, I know he probably didn't mean it that way. He's just praising the guy. He does seem to love himself some Adam Cole. But to go on to Corey Graves' podcast and basically spell out that, yeah, if this guy was Karrion Kross's size, he would be the world champion on Raw or SmackDown. But because he's not that size, he probably will never be the champion on Raw and SmackDown. Now I know AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan have both been World WWE Champion, and Kofi Kingston as well have all been WWE Champion over the last 2 years. But seriously, you're going to sit there and say that you're going to label Adam Cole the reason that he'll probably be, which a lot of people have this big fear. If Adam Cole gets called up, that because he's Adam Cole, and there's a Michael Cole on WWE television, WWE is going to book this storyline where Adam Cole is the illegitimate son of Michael Cole, or he's related to Michael Cole somehow, and they'll get some comedy bits out of it. And you want to know something? I wouldn't put it past WWE to do that. It's just what they do. They think anything's funny. They think that Dropping slime on somebody is funny. Blowing up a fucking water bottle is hilarious. Smashing up somebody's windshield and going and walking away is hilarious. It's fucking childish. What you saw on SmackDown is Adam Cole's future. It's shit like that. Going up against Baron Corbin, who, again, his crown and cape got a seat, while everyone in the fucking crowd area of the Performance Center did not. I would be afraid for Adam Cole. I would be afraid for the Velveteen Dream. I would be afraid for Io Shirai, even though after Nia Jax loses, which, by the way, Nia Jax still needs to be fired or sent back to the Performance Center to learn how to fucking wrestle, Io Shirai versus Asuka versus Kairi Sane would be a feud I would love for WWE to do. Is Adam Cole going to stay in WWE? Most likely. Haven't heard, there hasn't been any pop-up or anything that he's unhappy or anything, because he's been in NXT for 3 years. If he's gone, if he goes up to the main roster, then we'll see what happens. Then we'll see how he's going to do. Adam Cole seems to be having a lot of fun on Twitch right now, being able to be doing his Twitch streams every so often. Wonder how many of those he'll actually be able to do if he goes up to the main roster. Adam Cole, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, for all we know, by the end of the week, Adam Cole could have or the end of next week, Adam Cole could be re-signed. Or he goes up to the main roster at TakeOver Boston, or whatever TakeOver is going to happen in August. He loses the title there, and then he goes up to the main roster with Kyle O'Reilly, with Bobby Fish, with Roderick Strong, which they need to go up together. I don't want none of this shit where it's like Adam Cole gets excommunicated away from Undisputed Era, and he's up to the main roster while those three flounder on the NXT brand, because if you don't have Adam Cole, you don't have the Undisputed Era. Nothing's going to happen with Roderick Strong, because NXT was doing nothing with Roderick Strong before he got into the Undisputed Era. He just felt so lost, he's felt so lost and just another guy on the roster as clean baby face Roderick Strong. Prick Roderick Strong, who is part of Undisputed Era, has been fantastic. But we'll see what happens with them. Then, of course, let's look at everything that happened on Friday just for a minute. We have new tag team champions. We have Bayley and Sasha Banks. Let's see here. It's a death wish to be a champion. Bayley is the only, one of the only few champions who's actually been seen as legitimate. He's held that title for almost 365 days. If she wouldn't have lost the title when Charlotte Flair needed another title reign just to get her stats up to 10 before they decided to go, well, she's an NXT champion. Once she wins the NXT championship again, we'll count both of them. Yeah, WWE thinks that we don't remember the fact that she was only a 10-time champion and then went into WrestleMania to become a 12-time champion, since someone explained that math to me. But on the main roster, if you are a champion, you are a loser. You lose non-championship matches all the time, and I fucking hate it. I hate it. Bayley is the only one who really hasn't lost consecutive, continue to lose women's non-title matches. She does every once in a while, but she's been a more dominant champion than others. I mean, look at the tag team champions on SmackDown. How did we get to that fatal 4-way at Money in the Bank? The New Day had to lose to somebody, and it was the Forgotten Sons, which, by the way, the Forgotten Sons are probably no longer a thing after Jackson Ryker expressed his feelings, but that's not even something I want to get into. I'm not getting into anything political on this show. Not at all. But it's either you are a loser or they turn you into a joke. Look at Braun Strowman, as I said earlier. Braun Strowman. He won the title from Goldberg. He was the replacement of Roman Reigns. Braun Strowman wasn't even supposed to be in this position. He wasn't even going to have a match at WrestleMania until Roman said, you know what? Peace, I'm out. My family's more important than this wrestling shtick. So WWE decided to go with Braun Strowman. Then he wins the Universal Championship, faces Bray Wyatt, beats him when he's not even the Fiend, and let's see here. They go from that, which was okay, play mind games, good stuff, to Jackass and Nick Arcade with Miz and Morrison. What the fuck? What the fuck? How am I supposed to take this guy who is your Universal Champion seriously as a champion? I don't know what the hell to do. WWE just doesn't get it. I would never ever want to be a champion in WWE. NXT maybe because they actually take their championship seriously, but if you are a champion on Raw or SmackDown, you're going to lose, because how else are we going to build up contenders? How else can we build up a number one contender for a championship? Why not have a tournament? Why not have two guys who think they should be number one contenders fight it out to get a shot at a title? Why does everybody have to fucking lose? Why? Why? It's just so bad. Now, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss won the tag team titles back from, and this is something else. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss won the tag team titles back from Asuka and Kairi Sane at WrestleMania. Then the Moronics came back, and we started seeing a feud build up between Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss and Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Was it a really good feud? No. Can Peyton Royce and Billie Kay hold their own? No, they are terrible in the ring, but at least they try. They're not hurting anybody unlike some other people I've seen on WWE television. But you've been building this thing for weeks and weeks. You even had Billie Kay beat Nikki Cross on Monday. For what? Are they going to get a tag team title opportunity? No. Why? Because they haven't beaten or even faced off against Bayley and Sasha Banks since at least WrestleMania last year when they had that fatal 4-way? Why should we care about titles in WWE? Honestly, it just felt like Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss were fillers to get the titles onto Bayley and Sasha Banks. And that's sad. I don't want, if I'm anybody, I would not want to be a filler for any championship. And there's many of those that come. One of WWE's biggest problems, of course, is, as I've said before, championship. Why? Why would anyone want to be a champion in this company? I mean, yes, NXT. I love the North American Championship. I think it's the best championship they've got. But, those championships mean something. When you win a championship in NXT, you have a lengthy title reign that actually means something. They build people up to give you challengers who are going to be worth it. WWE's main roster, Drew McIntyre is your WWE champion. Does anybody believe Bobby Lashley to be a viable champion, a viable challenger? No. And even if Bobby Lashley loses to, say Drew McIntyre beats Bobby Lashley, clean as a whistle on next Sunday, a week from today, who do they have? Jinder Mahal was supposed to challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship before he got injured, which he's injured again. Which, of course, WWE would think that is the smartest thing ever. Give me a break. Does anybody in WWE remember how bad Jinder Mahal was as WWE Champion in 2017? 6 or 7 months as WWE Champion, and SmackDown ratings fell, the creative fell, everything on SmackDown sucked. SmackDown fell so fucking far, it has yet to recover. But no, give me Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal, which, by the way, wasn't Jinder Mahal supposed to be now a babyface before he had that knee surgery? Wasn't he supposed to be a babyface? Were you going to turn Drew McIntyre heel to feud with Jinder Mahal? God, that would be awful. But seriously, Kevin Owens is a babyface. Is he going to turn heel? Probably. That would probably be it. Kevin Owens as a heel going up against Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins has already been there, done that. Murphy and Austin Theory are nowhere near close. Angel Garza, nowhere near close. Andrade, maybe. Maybe Andrade. But who did they have? They have nobody on Monday Night Raw who you could see challenge and possibly beat Drew McIntyre for that championship, except for Brock Lesnar, and we don't want to go down that route. SmackDown. Who do they have? They have Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura. If WWE would actually give him a chance, Cesaro, Bray Wyatt as The Fiend, Jeff Hardy. That's 6 guys I just named right there. Otis is Money in the Bank, as Mr. Money in the Bank. He's going to fail because Mandy's going to screw him out of that. But it's just funny how WWE has the WWE Championship on Raw with no challengers, pretty much. SmackDown's Universal Championship has a lot of challengers, and I just named all those guys. Who did I not name? The Miz and Morrison. But yet, The Miz and Morrison are getting a title shot. What did they do to earn a title shot? They got in Braun's face. That is it. They didn't win no match. They didn't do anything else. They challenged him to a handicap match. The last time we had a handicap match for the WWE Championship was at the Royal Rumble in 2019. Or 2018. Yeah, 2018. When AJ Styles took on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a match to determine the WWE Championship. Of course, AJ went on to win and went on to WrestleMania, where he held the championship up until November of 2018. But that match was okay. That match just, I don't want to have a handicap match for the WWE Championship or any championship in general. It just makes no sense. If you want to do a tag team match with both the men's and the women's championship on the line like Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch did last year, that's fine. That's fine because at least it's a 2-on-2 match and not, hey, this person shouldn't be able to win this match, but he somehow overcomes the odds. I mean, seriously, does anyone expect Miz or Morrison to win the the Universal Championship? No. It's kind of funny how John Morrison leaves WWE all those years ago, goes on to become Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, doing all these great things, becoming Impact Heavyweight Champion. I believe he became the Heavyweight Championship or the World Champion in Lucha Underground, and was doing all these great things, felt like a big fucking deal. Comes back at the beginning of this year, not at the Royal Rumble, a week or two earlier, because he had to help The Miz, who fans booed The Miz because The Miz was having a problem with Bray Wyatt. Wow. And what happened after the Royal Rumble? John Morrison is in the same position he was before he left. Just a mid-carder who is either in a tag team with somebody or is on his own. Right now he's in a tag team with The Miz. And yet, nobody should want to come back to WWE. WWE just doesn't care. WWE has John Morrison come back to just be another cog in the machine with not even a lick of a chance to win the Universal Championship, be a Universal Champion, be a top champion, be a top talent. He's going to be mid-card while he's in WWE, and it's fucking sad. This is how pathetic WWE has gotten. As we know, on April 15th, known as Black Wednesday, Dark Wednesday, Black Wednesday, whatever the fuck you want to call it, the day when hundreds and hundreds of people were fired, furloughed, and everything. Out of that, we got Drake Maverick coming back after doing the tournament that he was already booked in before the firings. But Wrestling Observer Live, Brian Alvarez noted that WWE officials had tried to rehire some of the released talent, but the offers were reportedly for a fraction of what they were making before. It was also indicated that WWE has made renewal offers that are low enough that talent could likely make more money with another promotion. There's no word yet on who WWE made return offers to, but several wrestlers, producers, and on-screen, on-air talent were released furloughed back on April 15th due to the company-wide cuts brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Among the in-ring talent released were Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryan, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, EC3, Drake Maverick, Rusev, Sarah Logan, No Way Jose, Heath Slater, Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, Eric Young, Leo Rush, Primo Cologne, Epico Cologne, Aiden English, Eric Rowan, Cassius Ohno, Tenaro Conte, Tino Sanatelli, Dorian Mack, Deonna Purrazzo, MJ Jenkins, Alexander Jasik, Nick Ogarel, Mars Wine, Rocky, Edgar Lopez, Marcos Gomez, Muhammad Fahim, Busan Aldegal, and I'm not even gonna try that last name, but so WWE, who didn't need to make cuts. Impact Wrestling, who has nowhere close to as much money as WWE, hasn't cut anybody. AEW hasn't cut anybody. New Japan is probably in so negative in the red right now because they rely heavily on ticket gates and merchandise sales at these events that they do, that they honestly probably should be cutting people, haven't cut anybody. But the only company that has in professional wrestling is WWE. And they have the most money of everybody. Of all the big name things. MLW hasn't cut anybody, but WWE has. But Vince McMahon decides, hey, we fucked up, but we are going to try and get these guys back, and, well, we'll try and hoodwink them and give them pennies on the dollar to get them back. If I'm anybody who was released, I ain't taking that deal. Why would I only take that deal? Most of those talents were sitting at home waiting for their contracts to run out anyway. Why the fuck would they want to go back? Like, Gallows and Anderson are probably going to be leaving WWE and going back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Deonna Purrazzo is going to Impact Wrestling, where she's actually going to be used, probably making her debut next week, obviously. Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, I don't know what Matt Cardona and Brian Myers are going to do. Miro, aka Rusev, I don't know what he's going to be doing. Mike and Maria Kanellis, I don't see them going back. Why the fuck would they want to go back? Oh, they have 2 kids. Yeah, but they ain't going to be making the money they would have been making on that last 5-year deal that didn't even last very long. Do I expect some of these talents to end up in AEW? Probably not. I know Impact Wrestling on Tuesday aired a vignette about 22 plus, well, it was 22 they said, but there was way more fired. But 22 talents released, and then they did a video clip reel of Gallows and Anderson, Drake Maverick, a Bulgarian Flag, Mike and Maria Kanellis, EC3, Eric Young, and so on and so forth. Obviously, Drake Maverick's not going to be one of those talents, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Slammiversary, which happens 3 days after those talents are 90 days are up. My question is, are they doing this live? Are they doing this live? Because if they're not doing this live, unless they're taping it on the 15th, the 16th, or the 17th, I don't see how they're going to be able to use any of these talents unless it's in a video package, which is one thing. But you can't have these talents show up at Slammiversary unless it's a live event if they're taping it the week beforehand, because they're still technically under contract with WWE's no compete clause and they can't compete. Who will I see coming back to TNT? Who do I see coming to Impact Wrestling? EC3, no doubt about it. He should have never left there. That was where he made his fame, made his name, made the EC3 name famous. And if he was going to leave, I would have stuck it out with Impact Wrestling for a few more years, left and went to AEW, where you could still be called EC3 and actually be treated with respect. EC3 didn't do much in NXT. He made his debut in that what was it, 6-man ladder match for the first ever North American Championship. And that honestly was the only highlight he had in NXT. He spent the next, all the way till January of 2000 of the next year doing a couple matches here, a couple matches there, maybe having a takeover match here and there. Nothing really special, not in any championship contendership. And then they brought him up. He had 2 bad matches with Dean Ambrose, who was supposed to be the heel, but everyone knew he was leaving because WWE decided to be stupid and be like, oh, by the way, Dean Ambrose is not going to be signing with WWE, so we want you to boo him. He's leaving. He's trading. He's being a traitor. He's going to turn his back on the company. That turned him to be the biggest babyface in the fucking company. And they blamed EC3 for that. And then all went downhill from there. I know it was like last year or something, but someone put this great side by side or up and top by top, top and bottom comparison to EC3's entrance in NXT to main event. And the NXT video is him doing his entrance as he usually would, and he has all this this gusto, he was just ready to go out there and have a fight, to be that guy that he knows he could be. And then you see the one where he is like lazily pointing at the letters and stuff, and he's just like, oh, I just want to get this shit over with. WWE broke EC3. I don't know why. I don't know what Vince McMahon's vendetta was. Oh, that's right, because he was Derek Bateman back in the original NXT. For NXT Season 2, he left WWE after he cut his hair. The EC3 that you saw in Impact Wrestling actually started as Derek Bateman in WWE. His final match on NXT 2012, I believe, when it was just starting to become the NXT we know as, like we knew before the USA. The USA version of NXT is a shell of its former self. But the stepping stones of NXT. There's actually I found his final match in WWE somewhere before he went to Impact Wrestling, and he didn't have the mohawk, the big huge fucking hair anymore. He came out, he was doing the entire EC3 gimmick before he became EC3. But he went to Impact, he became the talk of the town over there. He became Ethan Carter III, a cousin or the nephew of Dixie Carter. And he went out there and became a great talent for them. World champion, I think, twice. And then he came home, came back to WWE, and the rest is history. I could definitely see him going back. Dark Gallows and Carl Anderson, I don't think so. They threw all these names out there because I think they wanted to just be like, who? They can't just say, hey, this person's coming to Impact Wrestling, because that would just ruin the surprise. They wanted to throw a couple curveballs out there to be like, this person could come or this person can come. We don't know. It's more of a surprise. Mike and Maria Kanellis, I can honestly see being back there because Mike Bennett did I keep saying Mike and Maria Kanellis even though it's Mike and Maria Bennett anywhere else. I could see them being there because Mike Bennett did a hell of a lot more in Impact Wrestling as a talent than he did in WWE. Those two were set up for failure the second they showed up at that SmackDown pay-per-view, and they had them skip over NXT. The only reason he was brought up to the main roster and skipped over NXT, which Mike Bennett needed NXT. Mike Bennett would have been a hell of a heel in NXT. But the only reason they got sent up to the main roster immediately was because he was married to Maria Kanellis, who had a name beforehand. Unfortunately to Vince, most of the people who knew who Maria Kanellis was watching that pay-per-view were probably not watching that pay-per-view. A lot of the people who were watching when Maria Kanellis was on TV, back when she was that dumb, ditzy, not blonde, was either grown up and watching something else, or just didn't care anymore. But yes, I can see Maria and Mike Kanellis, Bennett. I keep saying Kanellis, fuck. Maria and Mike Bennett. They're the Bennetts, they're not the Kanellises, that is her name. That is her maiden name, not his name, not their married name. Just so much bad in WWE. Now, going away from WWE for a minute, as you saw on AEW this week, Cody Rhodes defended his championship for the very first time against Jungle Boy. Now, before that match, then they want a rundown of what's happening next week. What's happening next week is we're getting Mark Quinn versus Cody Rhodes. When we're in the match, you have JR or Tony Schiavone saying Ray Phoenix is going to be facing Cody next week. What the fuck is that? Well, apparently AEW booked the show with it in mind that they're going to have Ray Phoenix back from his injury. Come to find out later on that they didn't have Ray Phoenix available. Ray Phoenix is not cleared yet. So they had to do everything they could to edit out Ray Phoenix's name and throw anybody else in there. So they went with Mark Quinn. It definitely explains the randomness of having Mark Quinn, a member of Private Party who you don't see as a single star or a singles wrestler at all, getting a match coming Wednesday. It was just really odd and very bizarre. And it's like, we had the rundown of next week. It's Mark Quinn getting the match, and then we get not even halfway through the match. It was like at the beginning of the match, and we hear Cody versus Ray Phoenix next week. I think you probably should have made sure you had Ray Phoenix before you did any of that. And you had a week. Now, who's to say? Maybe, just maybe, they didn't find out until like before, like a day before the show or something. But that's something that you should have had. Like, I would not have had on live television or when they were taping the show, because they taped it the next day on Thursday. I would not have had, and it said by the commentators while they were commentating on the match who Cody's facing next week. You have that dubbed in later, so you know who he's going to be facing, and you're not going, oh shit, we have to edit that out. Saves a little bit of trouble for you guys. Just WWE, AEW, I can't wait till we get some fans back, because it's great that AEW's been doing the fans, the talent in the stands or in the crowd, but it's time we get some fans back in there. Florida's opening up phase 2. They opened up phase 2 2 days ago. You can have 50% capacity at that stadium. Get us some fucking fans, AEW. WWE, get us some legit fans. If you want to have, since you have the Performance Center, take out the PC and have your NXT talent, and on the other side, you could have a legitimate fans. WWE, I want to see legitimate fans, because having the NXT talent in the crowd has been an absolute failure. They don't count, like, I want actual fans there because I want genuine reactions. The reactions, like the very first segment we got when they put at least talent in the crowd, was the Kevin Owens show. My God, that was awful. I was sitting there and I actually tweeted out that WWE just having fans, having talent in the crowd as fans made it worse, because they sounded like they did. It's like they didn't know what the fuck they were supposed to say or how they were supposed to act during this segment. Now, after that was over in the match, then the first match came on, it sounded a lot better, but it's like, and then you see what they're going through, having to be there for 10 plus hours, barely getting to sit, having to stand for at least 7 hours of content. I couldn't do it. I could not fucking do it. Now, yes, I know it is WWE and that's what they do, and if you go to like one of your outdoor concerts or something, you're probably standing a lot too, but it's like AEW knows how to do things right. WWE says, hey, we're going to do that, but we're going to do it our way. We're going to do it the fucked up way. Leave it to Vince McMahon to take something that you see one company do as perfectly as they can, and take it and make it their own way and make it look like shit. WWE is in a world of just... Vince McMahon is in his own little world, and we all know this. We know that Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit about the talent. We know Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit about us. Vince McMahon only gives a shit about the money. Which, I know WWE apparently coming up this Monday is going to be taping Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, and main event for this week, which is the go-home week to Backlash. Well, what are they going to do for Backlash? The post-show for Backlash. They're going to tape it on Tuesday. So yes, everything that happens on Backlash is going to be done, which is going to apparently be live, is going to happen after... We know, it's going to be happening after the day after, and the week after is going to happen. They did this with WrestleMania. That's why WrestleMania after, the biggest Monday Night Raw of the year was pre-taped and was just flat and bare. God, I can't wait till this shit's over. Oh, by the way, what happened to COVID-19? It just seems like that disappeared. All this stuff going on out there in big cities across the country. Seems like COVID-19 just boom disappeared. I think I told people it was a bunch of bullshit, but nobody wanted to listen to me. So let's see here. One more thing we can talk about here, and then we're gonna call it a day, most likely. Before we talk about anything big, I thought it was kind of funny that after the show last night on Friday, that Bayley and Sasha Banks were getting their pictures taken, because every time you win a championship, especially on the main roster, you got to stand in front of a white background, and you got to hold the title in certain ways to get your picture taken, so they could be all happy for you. I think NXT does it too, but Bayley and Sasha Banks were getting their picture taken, and they mocked the rumors from WrestleMania 35, because the rumors coming out of WrestleMania 35 after they lost the titles to the Moronics was that they weren't happy. They were in the locker room just laying on the ground, crying, throwing a temper tantrum, and they got, in full circle, a little over a year and a half later, they got it back. And it's funny because the jackass, I think it was Ryan Satin or Sondra Satt, one of those two, the jackass that reported on this shit didn't have a damn thing to say. God, it must have felt sweet for those two to sit there and say, hey, this is what you thought we were doing last year? Let's mock you for it, you stupid fucks. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Let's talk about a promotion from the land of the rising sun, New Japan Pro Wrestling, who hasn't had an event since the middle of February. They were supposed to have all these events going into March. They were supposed to have I think Tiger Hattori's retirement ceremony. They were supposed to have the G Cup, like a tournament. They were supposed to have all these events, and they all were gone, canceled. And they haven't had a pay-per-view or any type of event since February. How this company hasn't folded is beyond me. But they are going to hold a press conference on Monday. It will be a press conference on Monday, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Pacific Time, concerning future events. New Japan has previously canceled shows through late August, but with Japan beginning to reopen, the promotion could start running empty arenas, limited capacity shows. So that is something that I can't wait to see. I will be giving you guys an update on what happens next week. What the press conference is, we'll probably go over the entire thing. New Japan has been gone for a good while, and I'm hoping that they will be back in due course. Ring of Honor sent a message a couple days ago about protests that are currently taking place in the U.S. We're not going to talk about that. That's also in this article. I am so sick of seeing that shit. Let's not get into that. But there's a lot of questions about New Japan. Like I said before, New Japan doesn't have TV. They don't have a big TV contract like WWE or AEW does. They don't have a way to generate revenue right now besides merchandise sales. And that's probably not that much in Japan. Probably not that much here either. They need to go to the Tokyo Dome, sell it out. They need to go to Korakuen Hall, sell it out. They need to go to all these other places that they go and sell them out, or come close to selling them out, to be able to pay the wrestlers, because you don't think Okada is making chump change in Japan. You don't think Will Ospreay is making chump change in Japan. All these guys, men and women, are going out there and the men, not women. They don't have any women in Japan. New Japan, that's Stardom and stuff. But they have the fact that it's kind of funny because New Japan is paying their talent their full salary with benefits. And I'm hoping that they will be, I hope they don't do empty arena shows. I hope it's like limited capacity. If you could have 20 people or 100 people in a 10,000 seat arena and you spread them out, guess what? That's money generating into your pockets, and it's also real legitimate atmosphere. New Japan, we'll have it on you tomorrow. It will be here next week. I will have it all down. I'll have the whole thing copied over to my notes, and we'll go over everything that we need to talk about. I can't wait to see it. I have gotten into New Japan over the last few years. I'm going to admit it. Chris Jericho was a big reason. There really wasn't the big push for New Japan Pro Wrestling when AJ Styles was there. But when Kenny Omega took on Chris Jericho, what was it, 2015, 17 or something? Yeah, I watched that match. I watched it on delay because I wasn't getting up at the time at 5 o'clock in the goddamn morning to watch New Japan. But it was still one hell of a match. And then I watched some more. I don't watch everything, but I watched some more and watched some more. And you get into it, and it's just awesome stuff. Jon Moxley's the United States champion still. What's going to be addressed with that? Will he be there, able to get over there to defend the title in the next event, which I'm pretty sure. I figured Jon Moxley was going to hold the title until they went to the next tournament, the next pay-per-view, and he was going to drop it there. But things happened, and everything's been the shit. Now, oh yeah, another thing that happened on Saturday, yesterday, I thought this was pretty cool. In Your House, of course, is tonight. I'm not doing a review. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm just going to watch it at my leisure because NXT has really started to feel more like Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and I don't want NXT to look like that, look or sound or feel like that. Just look at what happened with Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae and Mia Yim, Johnny Gargano and Keith Lee this past Wednesday. You have a match between two talents that ends up going to a count out or a double disqualification. Two other people come in and boom, we had a tag team match, player. I don't want to see that on NXT. That's Monday Night Raw and SmackDown garbage. Keep that off my NXT. NXT has been a shell of its former self, but WWE put out a teaser for NXT in Your House, starring Todd Pettengill. If you don't know who Todd Pettengill is, he was a hype man pretty much in WWE back in the 90s. He was a guy who was, I don't think he had anything to do with wrestling beforehand, but he was a mainstay, or like a face of, he was pretty much a face of the company in the sense of, if you knew of the early 90s, when In Your House first started, you heard of Todd Pettengill. Todd Pettengill was the guy usually hyping up stuff like this. Well, they got him back, surprisingly, to hype up In Your House NXT TakeOver. I thought it was pretty cool. That's nostalgia done right. That is something, just having the feels of like, wow, that is awesome. Todd Pettengill sounds just as good as he did back in the 90s as he does today. I am going to admit, I was not young. I was too young back in the 90s to be able to enjoy In Your House. I didn't get to do any of that stuff until the WWE Network came to be in 2014. I have watched every episode of Monday Night Raw up to 2003 when I started watching it. I have watched every episode of SmackDown up to 2003 when I started watching it. I have watched most of the pay-per-views, not all of them, because some of them just don't seem like they're worth watching. But yeah, Todd Pettengill was one of those guys that he just had that voice, and like, you know who he is. He's been there before. It wouldn't surprise me if Todd Pettengill still works for WWE. He just hasn't been on television in 2 decades because he's not needed in that time. That's the crazy thing. It's like Todd Pettengill probably still works for WWE, and they brought him out for this. He probably does other things. I could be totally wrong, but yeah, it was a cool little thing. It's on their YouTube page. It's on their Twitter page somewhere. I think it's on NXT's Twitter page. Other people have retweeted it, quote tweeted it. It's some cool shit. If you want that nostalgia hype for a fucking NXT TakeOver In Your House coming this Sunday or coming tonight, go check that out. It was absolutely awesome. But, that is all I have for stuff I really wanted to talk about this week. WWE has got to get better at this shit. You don't treat your up and coming talent like inhuman like this. You don't treat them like that. The fact that they are being treated as lesser than in WWE. If I'm an NXT if I'm an up and coming talent, and you're treating me like that, that grass on the other side must be way greener because this is starting into shit. I would wait till my contract went out and be like, you know what? These motherfuckers, I'll go somewhere else. I might go to AEW. Hell, I might even go back home, or I might go somewhere else. I don't care. Because other companies are not going to treat you like that. That's like, if that got out and the mainstream media actually got a hold of that, which apparently I'm surprised they haven't, that would hurt WWE's image. Vince McMahon does not want the image of WWE to be hurt. Treat your talent better, and don't treat them like fucking children, or I'm just gonna say it, don't treat them like slaves. That's what they're treated. That's what it feels like. I know that's going to be sensitive, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, how could you say that?" But seriously, they're told to arrive at the performance at Full Sail, get on a bus, get bused to the performance center, which is, I don't know how close to Full Sail's performance center is. They can't just drive there themselves, which makes no fucking sense, because that's what they want to do. But they have to be bused there. They are told they have to bring food for themselves. They can't interact with the main roster whatsoever. And they have to stand on their feet, barely getting any breaks, for 10 plus hours. Does anyone else see what's wrong with that? Again, if it was me, I would be done working for that company right then and there. As soon as my contract is up, I am letting it expire because the dream of being a WrestleMania main eventer or a headliner in WWE is not fucking worth it. If that's how you're gonna treat me, fuck off. Be nice, be kind, don't be a bigot, don't be a racist, don't. If you have negative views on things, keep it to yourself. Don't go on Twitter, don't go on Instagram, don't go on social media ranting and raving because you're not happy that this person of color or this person of another ethnicity is getting a better opportunity than you, or you feel they're lesser than you, because you're only going to make your life worse. And anybody who is a teenager to a mid-20s person who is looking to to be something someday, don't get on social media, don't get on Twitter, don't get on Facebook, don't get on anything. Because unless you are going to police yourself and keep yourself from saying something that's going to get you in trouble 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, stay off social media. Social media, like Twitter, is great if you're somebody who is trying to advertise or be an advertised thing for yourself. Like you use it, like I use it to say, hey, this is out, guys, go check it out on my YouTube page. But if you want to be, like, if you want to be somebody who gets a job at, like, say if you're a professional, like, say if you're an up-and-coming professional wrestler, do not do what I think it was Chris Long and one of these enhancement talents that AEW was using. They had a match set for Dark last Tuesday, and that match got taken off because of things that person said 7 years ago. It's on the internet. It does not go away. Even if you, here's the thing, even if you say you tweet and delete, there is a website called the Wayback Machine, or Wayback or something. It's one of those things where you can go back and look at any website from the day it started to today. You tweet and delete, somebody's going to screen cap it, or somebody's going to find a way to get those tweets back. Be careful what you say. If you don't like what's going on in the world, and you think that you're like, if you're a black person who thinks the white people are stupid, if you're a white person who thinks black people need to shut the fuck up, and yada yada yada, and everything in between, shut your fucking mouth and keep it to yourself, because you're not helping anybody. Now, before we go, I do want to say one thing. The AEW has put their list of matches for Dark this week, and they are as follows. Santana, hold on. The Butcher and the Blade will be in action one day before they go take on FTR against Pineapple Pete and Anthony Katina. I have no fucking idea. Santana Ortiz will take on Musa and Brady Pierce. SCU will take on Lo, Rita, and Fuego del Sol. Jurassic Express will take on the formidable tag team of Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon, which, oh my goodness, will these two ever get a win? Possibly not. QT Marshall with Dustin Alley and Brandy Rhodes versus Zach Creighton. I wonder how that's going to go. Sunny Kiss will take on Christopher Daniels, which should actually probably be the best match we'll have of the night. Dark Order's Fire will take on Lee Johnson, and AEW World Champion will make his return to Dark to take on Robert Anthony, who apparently has history with Jon Moxley. I did not know this. I never heard of CZW at all. Did not know CZW. But apparently, Robert Anthony, posted a tweet saying this match is 10 years in making. A match where those two, oh my god, got powerbombed each, or got slammed both each through glass tables, and the backs of both of them was sliced up so badly. It looked horrible. But should be interesting to see what happens this coming Tuesday. But that is going to be all. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. And find me on Instagram at The France Club. I gotta get that on here. I keep forgetting to add it, and I always almost forget it as well. But I will see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. Enjoy In Your House TakeOver, or like NXT TakeOver In Your House. It should be a banger of a show. I'm gonna watch it. You need to watch it. And we will see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. Let's see what WWE's got in store for the go-home show to probably what is going to be the greatest wrestling failure of all time. But I'm wasting time. I'm getting out of here. You guys have a good one.